I have to say, there are a lot of days where I feel very privileged and very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing here on GCN. And today is most definitely one of those days. I'm about to get a first ride on the FSA K-Force WE electronic group set, and I'm going to do so here in the Lombardy region of Italy on a nice bright summer's day. Now, we've already taken a first look at the group set, so if you haven't already seen that, you can find a link to the video hovering above me somewhere now. And we go into intricate detail about the ins and outs of this brand new group set. But how does it actually perform out on the open road? We are about to find out. FSA have only been in existence now for a little over 20 years, but it's fair to say that in that short period of time, they had quite a large impact on the equipment that a lot of us ride today. So they were the first to introduce compact handlebars, i.e. a shallower drop from the hoods down to the drops here. They're also the first to come up with carbon chain sets, and also the first to come up with compact chain sets. And for that one alone, I've been grateful all the way up this extremely steep climb. Now, obviously, an electronic group set is nothing new. The big three, Shimano first, then Campagnolo, and then SRAM, have all done it beforehand. However, FSA has spent the last 5 years developing this group set so that not only does it stand up to its competition, it also stands out from the crowd. So how does this group set actually feel? Well, I guess the first thing that you do feel whenever you get onto a bike with a brand new group set is the shape of the levers and the hoods here. Now, I have opted for the longer of the two brake levers and the farthest of the three reach options. And that, with my reasonably large hands, I have to say has been quite comfortable. I've got no complaints at all in that area. I've been riding now for a couple of hours. Now, in terms of the shifting and specifically the buttons here, it did take me a little while to get used to them. They are quite far apart when you compare them to something like Shimano. But once I did get used to it, I have to say it was quite good because it meant I never accidentally shifted in the wrong direction for the gears. And because it's on this rocking paddle system, it also means that there is absolutely no chance of pressing both buttons at the same time accidentally. So that's going to be a really good thing on winter rides when you're wearing particularly thick gloves. Now, in terms of the actual shifting performance, I have to say it's been pretty flawless. Very quick, very accurate, everything that you'd expect really, and on a par with other flagship electronic group sets. Although I have to say that what I haven't done yet are the two tests that people say we probably shouldn't do. So, cross-chaining, i.e. big ring and big on the back, and also shifting under load. So why don't we try that now? Just turn around. I'm cross-chaining it now, big ring, big cog, no jumping, in fact no real noise. And then the next test, shifting under load up a climb. Wow, straight up into the big ring, that was cool. So what about the rest of the group set then, away from the excitement of another set of electronic gears? Well, they have made some further changes. Firstly, to the crankset, which is one of their specialities, of course. They say that they've made it stiffer. I have to say it's not something I've particularly been able to notice over the course of this ride. What I have noticed though is the brakes. Now, they've had a redesign too. These are the dual pivot models. There will also be direct mounts and eventually disc brakes as well. And they claim a significant improvement in braking performance. And they have been extremely powerful, I have to say. Now, that might be down to the fact that I'm using wheels with an aluminium rim braking surface, but they have noted that other testers of the FSA group set have said that the powerful braking is noticeable as well. I certainly haven't had any trouble at all when I wanted to stop. One thing which FSA are particularly keen on is enabling you to do a lot of data collection through their software. So you'll be able to see all of your shifting habits. And you'll also be able to put it up against things like gradient or indeed elevation gain, and also your power data. And that is because they see in the not too distant future a market shift to so-called smart bikes. So with all that data behind you, they will then be able to tailor-make the gears and the group set to your own specific riding style. So that's been my first ride on this new FSA K-Force WE electronic group set. But actually earlier on, when I was testing this out on the open roads, I got the chance to speak to one of the key testers over the last few years for the group set, who you might recognise. Ivan,
yes,
you've had a long relationship with FSA. You live close by to their Italian headquarters, and I understand you've had quite a big role in the development of this group set.
yes, it's 15 years. For all my career, I'm the last one to use the new product, and now when I stop cycling, I'm the first.
Yeah.
So I'm involved in the study, in the development, and of course in the final use before you boys you can try.
So what changes did you ask FSA to make from when you first tested the prototype group set to where we've got it today?
Well, we start from, we have 3 points. One is the weight,
Yeah.
second faster, and third is the comfort. Because for me, one of the most important thing is the position. If this is comfortable, you can ride very well, because here you stay a lot of hours in that position, you pull, you push, so you have a lot of moment, like now, for example. If this is not comfortable, you don't feel okay. So this have to be faster when you change.
Yeah.
That is really important. The message, when you think I need one more gear, you touch and immediately go up or go down.
Yeah. Quite often my problem is that when I think I need one more gear, there are often no more gears left.
Yeah, that is also my problem.
Well, I've been told that it's almost against the law to go for a bike ride in Italy without actually stopping for an espresso at some point. So that's what I've been forced to do now, whilst overlooking this rather beautiful vista behind me. Now, one thing I haven't talked about just yet is the durability of this group set. And that obviously is going to be very hard for me to comment on, having only done about 70 kilometres with it. However, as I said, it has been developed over the last 5 years. So you would hope they've done some pretty rigorous testing, both out on the open road in real world conditions and in the laboratory too. So it should be on a par with its key rivals. Now, if you still haven't seen that first look video, which we've been banging on about throughout this video, you can find it just in the top corner there. Or if you really like your tech, we've got an entire playlist just for you. You can get to that by clicking in the bottom corner there. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, the Global Cycling Network, it is absolutely free, and all you've got to do is click on the globe, which hopefully won't be placed over this view.